right, everyone, half a day, and welcome to, I guess, what you would call a very special holiday edition of the show. And I am joined here in my Zoom room by some ladies here joining me. We have Senator Amanda Shelton, we have Joyce Crisostomo, and First Lady Christine Calvo. And as you can see, very festive in their pink vests. First of all, let's go ahead and address that. Tell us what the pink vests are.
Good morning, Andy, and thank you so much for having us this morning. Yes, our pink vest is part of our uniform as we volunteer to bring much needed equipment and supplies and whatever way that we can help or assist our hospital bring better care for our patients and to our staff. So on days where we come to volunteer our time, our pink vest is most noted, and maybe you'll get fined $1 if you are not wearing one. So,
oh, okay. So you have pretty strict uniform regulations over there at the GMH Veteran or Volunteers Association. And you mentioned it there, First Lady, some of the duties of the volunteers. Can we go ahead and cover that? And what exactly the Volunteers Association does on a day-to-day basis?
Well, first of all, we do have fundraising efforts, which were, like many of our nonprofits around the island, were just suffered this year greatly. Through our fundraising efforts, we established a goal to reach, and we work with the hospital administrator and CEO, and that is Lillian Posadas and Perez Posadas, and she basically gives us a list of some items that are really sorely needed at the hospital. This year, because 2020 is such a shocking and surprising year for all of us, we had to narrow down, take out the wish list that we had all agreed to purchase for them, and really focus on the much needed COVID-19 equipment and supplies. So the volunteers are here to provide funding for necessary equipment for the hospital as deemed needed by the CEO. Okay, we do have other functions right, which are committee-based, and many of those have been canceled because of our year of 2020. The gift shop, which is something there at the hospital that patients or families or even staff can come down and get a snack or purchase a gift or a card, a magazine, house slippers, pajamas, a hospital gift shop, but we have since been temporarily closed. We have our committees such as the Patient Care Committee services, which go around to visit the patients in their rooms and just share a few moments with them. And, just seeing the ladies in their pink vests, it's just enough to see someone smile as we make our way through the rooms at the hospital. That also has been restricted or canceled out because of our year. We have our steering committee, and here we see our volunteer of the year, Joyce Crisostomo. And this steering committee is really the driving force behind our funding and how we make our donations to the hospital. So our volunteer of the year for 2020 is Joyce Crisostomo, who is our immediate past president. And Joyce is our chairwoman for the steering committee. And from here, I just like her to share all the wonderful, wonderful things that we have received through generous donations for the hospital.
Yeah, great segue into introducing Joyce there. Obviously, you're a service in the community does not just begin and end here at the Volunteers Association. So from past president, you didn't, retire from it. You stuck with it, and you Volunteer of the Year. So congratulations for that honor. And let's talk about your role now. That the plans, as the First Lady has said, have had to been shifted.
Well, I'm also a lifetime member, and as well as our president, Christine. But what's really important about the GMH Volunteer Association with this year in our 56th year. So that's quite an amount of years. And as a nonprofit organization, we're very happy with it. Our community has really embraced and helped our GMH hospital through the GMH Volunteer Association. So if I may say that GMH Volunteer Association is a conduit really for anyone who would like to make any form of donation, particularly monetary donations, to purchase medical equipment, consumables for all the respiratory equipments that we purchased this year for 2020. And I know that these are most difficult and challenging times, but I always believe that there's really a lot of good in any of the challenges that is upon us. And so, it's an honor to be a Volunteer of the Year. And I believe the members, as they elect the Volunteers of the Year, and I'm very grateful for our board members who are very supportive, and as well as our president. And so with all that, the steering committee, as she mentioned, basically I'm the guardian to make sure that all medical equipments are ordered and in a very expedient manner. So for the COVID this year, it's really all medical equipment and consumables for these equipments were vital. We needed to get them as quickly as we can. And I think just because of our being out here in the Pacific this far, earlier on, all of these equipments had a delay. And so, but we're very happy that during the delayed times, Guam had been very good. Our community they were on top of things earlier on. They paid attention to what really needed to happen to keep everyone safe and healthy. And so as time went on, of course, the equipment start to happen. And so, yes, we got to make sure that these equipments are paid, and we receive them, we tag them at the hospital, and then, with God's willingness, we get these equipment. We like to thank all of our donors this year. Fundraisers were not really as active. However, I have to shout out their names, because the Israel family early on, Madam President can, is she like to talk about that more? But they made a lot of the medical equipment for COVID happen this year, and they've donated $250,000, and so we're so grateful. Thank you so much to the Israel family. It just really means a lot to all of us, here on our island and our community.
And a lot of
I have to tell you, this is a very symbolic uniform, as we call it, because we have built so much integrity with our community. They know that when we're out there fundraising, they continue to support us. And, even with not really going out there and saying we need your help, we do need the help at GMH. So please, all of you out there, just a little adds up, and it can, help with the hospital.
Yeah, community support, as you mentioned, is vital to the success of the Volunteer Association and GMH. And it also pays to have someone that's in the legislature to kind of help things out there. So
Yes.
we've got Senator Amanda Shelton joining us as well. Senator, talk to us about your role in this and how you kind of help things get done.
Oh, thank you very much, Andy. Thank you for having us. Well, I'm very glad to be a member of the Guam Memorial Hospital Volunteers Association. I'm currently the vice president of the organization. I'm not a lifetime member like these two ladies. I'm actually probably one of the newest members of the organization. I've been in for about 5 years now, I think. So they really keep us busy. They keep us on our toes. Obviously, we cannot overstate the needs of GMH and how much they give to our community, how important they are in our community. And so the Volunteers Association allows us to assist the hospital in any way that we can. And like our president and volunteer of the year mentioned, this year has been very, very different for us. So we haven't been able to do our signature fundraising events like most people know us out selling tickets in our pink vests for the Thanksgiving raffle and for the charity ball and other events. So this year we've really relied on these community donors who came to us wanting to give money, wanting to know how they could assist the hospital, especially with the pandemic. And so we've had very, very generous donations, but of course, there's still a lot more work to do and a lot more need to meet at the hospital. But I'm so proud of this organization because in this time of the pandemic, not being able to meet or fundraise, we've been able to innovate and adapt and still have these ladies who are committed to working with the hospital, like Volunteer of the Year, Joyce, who probably talks to the administration every day about the needs for the wish list and what they need to respond to COVID and all the PPE that we need to get on island, and just working together to make that happen with President Christine and our entire board. It's really quite amazing. So usually during the Christmas season, we get to go out and we carol, we have a novena with the patients. We do a lot of patient care during this time and visit and pray and give out Christmas gifts. And obviously we're not able to do that and be physically in the hospital. And so Volunteer of the Year, Joyce, has kind of led us in a different direction for the Christmas season. And it's something so beautiful. I really would like her to talk about our Christmas.
That is one of the main reasons I wanted to interview you ladies about that, because I've had to spend a little bit of time at the hospital lately, and I just saw it last week. That beautiful display. I felt like almost I took a wrong turn and I ended up at Skinner Plaza in like the 90s, because it is just decked out and it looks beautiful. Talk to us about that, how that Christmas display came about.
Okay, so as we have our meeting, we always Madam President has an agenda for us, and the decoration was in there as it normally does. And during Christmas time, in ordinary time, we would decorate, the hallways, the front lobby, and the volunteers actually do them. And it's really nice to be able to continue even with the challenges that we have. And this time, with the president allowing me to do the decoration, and it was we decided we'll do it outside. And wow, I didn't even think it would come out that way, but it's God's will, because the intention was purely to bring the Christmas spirit to our GMH frontliners, our nurses, our administration, everyone that works so hard. And I have to tell you, and I hope I don't get too emotional in this part, but patients, they have families that cannot visit. There's absolutely no visitations allowed. And, when I went there in the beginning, trying to organize it and get things in place, I've met several family members, and they really are sitting there outside in that front lawn and praying and even crying, and and so we would speak to them, and they share that their family member is in the hospital, and they just want them to know they may not be there in the room with them, but they are there in spirit. And they said, when this started to happen, it started to make them want to come more, because now they're going to see what's really the outcome of that decoration. And they said, for the family members that have their resources, their phone or their iPad or whatnot with them, they've shared it. And they said it just really brought tears to them and let them know that, they're so loved, and even loved by the GMH Volunteer Association. And even during these times, we want them to know that, we hope that, with the love that the GMH volunteer and the volunteers are so passionate about everything about GMH, our only public hospital, the dedication, commitment that our volunteers have just put in for so many years. The gift shop is very prominent there, and but because the gift shop is needed, understandably, we continue to let GMH or the employees know, and patients, that we do care. We still care. We do not give up, no matter what it is. We want to also thank all those that made it happen, with the decorations. It was a lot of concerted effort with some of our great friends from the community out there. I have to say that Guam Windward Memorial is just, Bob Salas, he's got a big heart. Okay, I have to say that. He's a businessman, but at the same time, when I called him up, I said, we'd like to do something for the hospital. And he says, how do I say no to you, right? Because it's like, I feel like I'm always asking, but, in the asking, it's for a good cause. And so I explained that to him, and he says, you know what? I'm going to have my guys pull all that stuff out, just go up there and choose what you want. Well, it was a no-brainer, because everything that he had outside the yard, which I understand for those that lived in Dedido and Chigo, actually appreciated it, because he actually turned them all on. And so I felt so bad. Now we're going to have to pull this and detour it to GMH. And he said, no, it's fine. We're happy to do it. And so throughout that, that's where he came in. So, trying to place it, and now getting all those big Santa Claus and even the mannequins. I tell you, the Christmas tree, 25 feet Christmas trees, two of them, also. We have a very close friend, Joey and I. He was actually Joey's best man when we got married. And I called him up and I said, Eddie, I said, we need your help. He said, you hardly asked me for help. He says, what do you need? I said, I need to haul all that decorations from Bob Salas's area up there and across Micro Mall. And he said, no problem. He said, I'll meet you there. And we got there and he goes, whoa, all of this? And so I said, yeah. He said, shoot, we're going to have to do this. It'll probably take 2 to 3 days. I said, whatever you can do. We're very patient. We can wait. But just remember,
and that's one thing with the volunteer. That's one thing with the Volunteer Association, is that when people are able to help, they just need to know how. So as soon as you ask them, they step up and they help out in any way they can, which is a great thing for the association. And I know, First Lady, you wanted to add something there. You had your hand up in the chat. So what would you like to add, Madam President?
Yes, Senator, you want to chime in there?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to also thank another one of our sponsors during this whole COVID pandemic, actually, that we didn't mention earlier, but that's the Bank of Hawaii, who also gave a very generous donation of $25,000 to our overall goal of
That's
providing
right.
and providing meals to our frontline workers. So that was a very generous donation from them. And then, of course, we had so many more who helped us with the Christmas display. I know Volunteer of the Year Joyce is being very modest, but her and her husband Joey Crisostomo and their whole Cars Plus team were very uh, integral to this whole process. And then we had the mayor of Umatic, Mr. Johnny Kanaka, who was also helpful. And then, of course, our whole team at GMH, the facilities team there, who saw this whole project through, along with so many more. I'm sure I'm missing some
Yes,
volunteers.
I'll mention them.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that she also.
Oh, yes, I've got it right here.
Okay.
I will not miss any of those hardworking people, I tell you. And so aside from what you've mentioned, trying to get what we wanted in those big spaces, right? So Tony Pecan was really there right along with me from the very beginning. And she's so gracious. And she says, the gingerbread house, we need to have a gingerbread house for the children. So I have to tell you, Rita Cruz, who is a member, thank you, Rita, for she had coordinated these artists. So we had an artist team. Of course, I had our mayor of Umatic, that's my roots, okay? So I feel comfortable going to ask him. But he said, yes, I'll build the gingerbread house. And it happened. And the artists were so happy, and it's beautifully displayed now. So there's also a committee. I have to tell you, the committee members of the GMH Volunteer Association members are Sil Solidium, Josephine Mesa, Rose Cahill, and Rita Cruz, and of course, Tony Pecan, who had been my right hand from the very beginning. And a very special gentleman, I have to tell you, from GMH, he is just always there. And that's Mr. Joe Camacho. I have to give a shout out to him. And, as we're putting all these decorations, of course, it was raining a lot. And so the grass started to grow. And I'm thinking, okay, so we still have work to do. So very kindly, Mike Titano from the GSP, the Guam Service Pros, they came. He says, I can be there now. I'm like, wow, awesome. So, that was an in-kind from them. So they bush cut the entire lawn. So I just wanted to mention all of those. And I think that's about it. And
so many people, as you all have said, came together to help out the Volunteer Association. And like I said, I saw the display. It looks amazing. It is just something that, as you all have said, this year has been hard for everyone, especially those that have loved ones or have been in the hospital. And then you can't forget, I wanted to mention that whenever I go into the dialysis center to get my sessions, they have a big banner up right at the front door that says, "Heroes work here." And I think that's so true for all our nurses, all our healthcare professionals on island. And no matter what their role is at the hospital, they're up there doing this work. They haven't been able to scale back their activities during this year. They've actually ramped their activities. So it's so important to bring that little bit of Christmas to everyone, patients, healthcare workers, and you ladies. I mean, you should be so proud that you were able to help bring that to fruition with all the help. So it's absolutely wonderful to see. And it just, it makes me happy to see that it is something like that is out there.
yeah, Madam President can talk about the Nubena. She's
please.
there every day.
Well, first of all, starting in the month of December, McDonald's reached out to us and asked if they wanted to make some donations during the month of December. So McDonald's donates a meal on Wednesdays. This is for the night shift. we want to have a special shout out to the night shift. They're all heroes, but I think most of the deliveries are done during the daylight hours. And we just wanted to make sure we reached out to the night shift to say, you know, it's dark, we're sleeping, and you're working, because the hospital is 24/7. So we have been providing them a hot meal on Wednesdays from McDonald's. And this Thursday, a special treat will be making their way to them on Christmas Eve. We have been saying our novena. It's such a beautiful setting. And we have a sunshine committee led by our chairperson, Hilda Pellicani. And she said, President, it's such a beautiful display. Could we come out and say our novena at 5 p.m.? And how could I refuse Joyce wanting to put a massive Christmas celebration, lights and everything, and get this mass production going for a beautiful setting, and not say yes to having a prayer to bring and enjoy all these celebrations. So at 5 p.m. we do send up our intentions and special prayers to the hospital staff, to the patients, to their families, and to all of our hardworking volunteers who have made it possible for this.
It's just wonderful to see
Christmas
everyone step up
presentation.
and help out in any way they can. And all three of you had talked about who has helped in years past, this year, who has stepped up. But I want to know, how can people help if they want to now? Businesses, local organizations, how can they step up and help if they want to?
Well, that's a great question, Andy. We are always looking for more support for the hospital, and we welcome any help that we can. If anyone's interested in becoming a volunteer, that would be awesome. I think we're most famous for being the Pink Ladies, but we have a few male members, so I have to give you a push. If you'd like to help us volunteer, you can get one of our iconic pink vests and join.
I look great in pink, by the way.
Yeah, they look great on guys too. So we will take any member who wants to volunteer with us. We also take donations. You can reach out to any member to give a donation, but we also have a website that is up and running. It's gmhvolunteers.org, and you can donate there. We have a PayPal account, or you can find us through any member. We have so many members who are very active in the business community, in the private sector, lots of different ladies to reach out to. So we'll take your help any way that we can get it.
Wonderful. I know we're running a little short on time here. So before we go, ladies, I did want to ask you that this year is different for everyone. So what are your plans for Christmas?
It's a good idea. Well, for Christmas, not personally, you're talking about.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, now that they've increased to 10 for congregating, my family, which is a small family, we're going to get together, because it didn't happen on Thanksgiving, of course. So it ended up that I had to do 4 turkeys and do all the fixings, and actually Joey and I had to deliver them to each home, so that was our Thanksgiving. So Christmas is going to be different. And I tell you, that's for my family, and barbecue hasn't been around in a while because of that. So we're changing up Christmas meal to having barbecue, so that's us.
I know we all miss it. First Lady, Madam President, what are your plans?
Yes, I've ordered a very special meal from one of the hotels. This is just a way to show our support for those private businesses who continue to try to stay open. And it's just, we're ordering a Christmas breakfast. I'll start off going to a mass in the morning with our family at 9:30 a.m. and then coming home for a brunch. and make sure we have 19 in our family. That's just between our 6 kids and our 5 grandchildren. So our house is large enough and our yard is huge. And I have a lot of tables to set them all out to make sure we're all socially distanced as much as possible, or
Wonderful.
as little as possible.
Sounds like a great Christmas.
It'll be a good
Senator, what are your
Christmas.
plans?
Well, we usually have our family novena with all our extended family, and we meet every night leading up to the end. But so far, we've been doing it on Zoom every night, and hopefully on Christmas Day, we'll get together with just a few of us, me and my mom, and hopefully my brother and his family, and have a nice little celebration after, attending midnight mass and having our traditions, but just in a smaller way, and sharing time together and giving thanks for such a blessed year, because it's been a hard year, but we can't deny the fact that God has really blessed us and our entire
Yes.
island so much, especially with our healthcare workers at GMH who have been working every day, and just we want to give thanks and recognize the blessings that we do have this year.
Absolutely.
Amen.
And whatever it is that you do, I want to make sure that all 3 of you and your families are safe. And thank you for joining the show. And I cannot thank you enough for all the work that the Volunteer Association does throughout the year, not just with this display for Christmas, which is greatly appreciated. So thank you, all of the volunteers and everyone involved, for all the work that you do.
Thank you too.
Thank
Andy.
you. Thank you,
Merry
Andy.
Christmas.
Merry
Thank you so
Christmas.
much. Merry Christmas to all of you. Please be safe. And thank you very much for joining the show. Please stop by and see the display. You can drive through right there in front of GMH and just enjoy a wonderful Christmas season. So thank you again for joining me.
All right. God bless you.
God bless.